Welcome everyone to the JLB webinar. We are going to talk about geofencing, and some of you may have an idea of what geofencing is or may have used it in the past, but this is a great way to understand it more in depth, and even if you haven't used it, to understand it altogether and how it could benefit your business. So with that being said, let's get started. So understanding the new normal, here in the United States and actually globally, we're all affected by this pandemic that's going on. And what's sad is that we were all looking forward to 2020. You know, the Great Gatsby, everybody was dressed up in 1920s for the New Year's, and we were all very excited. But literally, did we know that this was actually going to be a history that repeats itself? In the 1920s, actually, instead of the Prohibition era, they had Spanish flu, and we actually have COVID-19. So go figure. Things have actually started to decline, but now they are back on the rise again, I'm sure, as most of you know. So it's a very unfortunate time for everyone. And there's mask mandates, people have lost jobs, businesses have closed. The world was basically shut down for a period of time, and it looks like that's starting to happen again. So very unprecedented times. But with that being said, if you do want to survive this and continue to move and grow with your business, the way COVID-19 has affected the way we shop and the way consumers shop and your customers in general, they're purchasing online. They're on their phones, they're working from home, they're on their laptops, iPads. So they are constantly on the computer, constantly shopping online. I know myself, doing online Christmas shopping is one of the things that is top of my list. I really don't want to go out into the stores, but that's just me. So this is the new way that people are doing business, and geofencing is a great way to actually reach those potential customers of yours for your business. It's a potential way for you to reach them on their phone or on their desktop while they're working from home. Maybe they're checking their Facebook, or even in the evening when they're streaming TV on the Roku channel, or maybe they're watching YouTube, and you can reach them directly in their home on their TV. So there's a lot of different ways that this can actually reach your clients, and it actually opens up a huge spectrum of generating more business, more sales, and branding, getting in front of your target audience. So let's jump right into geofencing. And at the end of this presentation, I will open it up for questions. So if anybody does have any questions, you're more than welcome to type them in the chat, and I'll be glad to answer those for you. And we can kind of, go back and forth if you have any questions moving forward. So what is geofencing? When you think of geofencing, you might think of a physical location that you actually target, or that you have to be in front of a physical brick and mortar storefront in order for it to work. Well, that is partially true. So geofencing definitely works with brick and mortar locations, longitude, latitude lines. It also does work with addresses. However, there's multiple ways that we can target with geofencing. And some of the ways that we utilize geofencing are display ads through mobile and tablets, using a device ID, a connected TV. So people that have cut the cable cord and, like myself, are using streaming devices like a Roku for Sling, or if you have Apple TV or things like that. The other thing is obviously IP addresses, desktops and laptops. Also, we can target via Bluetooth. So there's a lot of different ways that we can target consumers. And we're actually going to serve them up ads based on your audience, your target, and then also a nice, friendly, pretty creative design ad that will show up on their screens. So let's talk more about that. One of the quotes that I actually really love, and I just wanted to share this with you guys, is marketing's job is never done. It's about perpetual motion, and we must continue to innovate every day. And with geofencing, this is a great way. It kind of segments right into this. So moving on, with geofencing, there's different ways you can target, as I mentioned. There is brick and mortar locations. There are mobile device there's addressable. We can even target by utilizing key terms that target your specific audience. So not only are you reaching your clients mobilely or let's say digitally, you can also reach them in a brick and mortar location if you chose. So a couple different things. Geofencing is basically targeting based on someone's location or your competitor's location. So we can target your competitor and kind of not necessarily steal the clients, but show the clients what you can do and you can do it better, or give them a better promotion so they actually become your client. There's also category contextual, which is, targeting on sites where the content is relative to your business. So if somebody is searching online for shoes and you're a shoe store, but you may not populate, we can start serving them an ad for a particular shoe store, yours, that maybe they never thought of before. IP targeting people using their actual IP address on their computers, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with. And then keyword level contextual targeting. And that's actually utilizing different targeted key terms and keywords that are relevant to your industry and your business. If you're a shoe store, the types of shoes that you carry, the brands, things like that. And we would actually, when people are searching for those items, that would be those keywords that we actually hone in on and we start targeting them. It kind of sounds a little stalkerish. However, I'm sure you guys have all had this happen to you, and I know I have. I've been shopping online, and Target was a big one for me. There was a certain toy that I wanted to purchase for my niece, and I didn't buy it right away. I left my cart and I left the actual site, and all of a sudden, this little toy started popping up everywhere on my sidebars, on my Google, on my Facebook, on my, it just was popping up everywhere. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So mind you, I went and I bought the toy for her. But it's just one of those things where they stalk you and they find you and they're like, okay, buy this. And you eventually do in most cases. And that's what we want to do. We want to have that repetition, and we want to get in front of your consumer. If they do come to your site or they do use certain keywords, we want to target them because that's going to help you generate more business. You can even dial down with geofencing down to someone's particular address. So if you're a real estate agent and you wanted to target a certain zip code, or you wanted to target a certain city, or even if you said, you know what, I want to target renters in this specific couple of apartment buildings, we can actually put a geofence around those addresses. And we have a list of those addresses where we can actually start serving them ads. And we can dial it down as deep as it being a specific address, that they're a renter. If you speak Spanish or bilingual and you want to target Hispanic and Latino renters, we can even do that. So it's down by demographic, geolocation, IP address, and then actual physical address. So this is how intense this stuff can be. And then also there's site retargeting. If somebody comes to your website and they just happen to bounce off your site, how are we going to find them again? They leave your site, now your bounce rate's up. We're trying to regenerate that business. Why didn't they buy? So if we can retarget them and continuously serve up these nice, beautiful design, creative ads on their mobile or their desktop, and we stay in their face, they're going to be more likely to return to your site. And we can track all of these results as well with geofencing. That's the best part about geofencing, is tracking the results. And I'll get more in depth with that as well. So this is just a little information. Geofencing, like I mentioned, it serves these beautifully designed display ads in your browser and apps on somebody's phone, their desktop, their iPad. It also engages your prospects and current customers in a way that's meaningful to them. So we can cater to what your client is looking for based on your industry and your business. So let's show you, for example, this Southwest ad. This is an actual geofence ad, and they were promoting their nonstops from Lovefield Airport, right? So they have a book now, so they have a call to action on the actual ad, but they also showcase their price, so that's an enticing price, but they have their pertinent information on there, their website. And then once the consumer clicks that, they're going to be driven to your website, to that actual promotion, and it's going to benefit them because now they can go through, you're driving that traffic to your website, but also now you have a new customer who's actually legitimately interested. And let's say they bounce off, what are we going to do? We're going to retarget them. So it's very, very useful. It's very integrated and very trackable, which is great. And using a little promotion or some sort of a highlighted service is always a great way to entice new customers to purchase from you. I'm not saying you have to go crazy and offer something out there, but definitely you want to give them a little call to action and something that's going to entice them, because that always helps drum up business. And I'm sure as business owners or consumers, you understand that as well. So let's talk about social media and how this actually ties in to geofencing. So already on Facebook, I'm not sure if you're doing Facebook advertising or not. Some of you may, some of you may not. However, with social media, you can run ads directly through Facebook, their targeting. They give you a certain demographic and you can target by keywords and you can do all these things. Well, with the geofencing, this is actually going to help you boost your inventory and your reach with, leading social media sites, because you're going to target those specific persons that are individuals that you would sell to a product or that would be your consumer. And you're actually going to personalize this information that you offer to them in their basic news feed. You can reach so many more profiles by utilizing geofencing because of the different types of ways we track it, with shopping patterns, the hobbies, where they're geographically located, different behavior targetings, things that they've purchased, keywords, searches. All those things are a great way to target your customer, as well as like events. Now with Facebook and your social media marketing, a lot of times you'll see events that pop up. I know I get invited to events all the time. And that being said, if there's certain events that cater to your business, then we can start targeting those people based on the events that they frequent or that they receive, things like that. So it's very, very, very drilled down and niche. So as you see here on this slide, it does show you, Facebook Live event marketing, demographic targeting, interest and behavioral targeting. And like I mentioned before, reputation is key to generating a need. The more your ad is in somebody's hands, it will only ensure that they subconsciously need to purchase or try your product. Just like the Target ad that followed me. I didn't buy it right away, left it in my cart. I went back 2 days later after they stalked me for 48 hours and I bought it. So it is effective. It works. So some of you, as I mentioned, I'm going to go right here into the CTV and OTT, and this may sound like weird jargon to you, so I'm going to break it down for you, but it's for those people who have cut the cable cord. And I myself, I have cut the cable cord just because I don't know if anybody here has Spectrum, but they constantly raise their bill. And honestly, it has gotten to be too expensive, and I don't watch 90% of the channels. And at least I know with, cutting the cable cord and using like a Roku, I have more options. I have different movie choices I can do on demand, just like I could with cable. I have a DVR, I have all sorts of things, right? And for those of you who may have purchased certain TVs, like a Vizio TV, that comes with a free streaming TV service called Pluto TV. And they show like older movies and channels and things like that. And not all of it's old. It can be pretty relevant, but we can actually stream and run your ads without interruption and no fast forwarding options on people's TVs. So your message will get in front of a small or large audience, depending on who you want to see the message. There's a lot of different ways we can do this. So CTV is going to be a way that we target your consumers, but we're going to target those that are actually on gaming consoles, those that are just using the Roku. OTT is going to be more in line with your Sling TV users, your Hulu users, Fubo. So it's going to be the subscribers to the streaming services. And I'm sure you've probably been watching something on the Roku channel. If you do have Roku, I know I do. And you're halfway through and all of a sudden it shows at the top like an ad starts and it'll say 1 of 4. And so those ads run, there's no fast forwarding through them, they just run. That is an example of OTT. So we can have your message streaming directly in front of your consumer right on their TV set, but it doesn't stop there. You can also, when they're in an app on their phone, on their laptop, on their iPad, and they're streaming on YouTube, you can also showcase your ad there. So there's a lot of different ways to reach them and get in front of multiple millions of eyeballs. Some of the actual systems and apps that we actually have access to pushing your message on would be like the History Channel, A&E, Discovery, Travel Channel, HGTV. Also, you know, your search engines like Google, different sort of, let's say like your Roku's, your Bravo, Fox. If you're on sports and you're like a sports type business, or you want to target that sports enthusiast, ESPN, Fox Sports, NHL, Sling Sports directly, Roku Sports. So there are a lot of different channels that we can actually target and apps that people can download on their phone, and your message can be seen across the board for all of these. The other thing about your CTV and your OTT, is that it's also addressable, it's behavioral, and it's also a demographic targeting service as well. So addressable is that physical location. So we're going to use GPS data to serve those OTT and CTV ads, and they're going to show on the app or on their streaming device. Demographic would be taking advantage of like a numerous amount of combinations of variables that would target your ideal audience. So if you do want to target the Hispanic, you know, homeowners or Hispanic subscribers, and you have a message for a certain restaurant that you want to promote, and it's a Spanish infused restaurant, that would be, we would start targeting Hispanics from ages such and such to such and such that eat out so many times a week, things like that. It can really be drilled down that detailed, guys. Also behavioral, you know, how people are searching for things. If they're on their TV and they're streaming, what are they watching? Are they watching crime shows? Are they watching different, you know, let's say rom-coms all the time? And maybe you're a bookstore and you want to target them. There's multiple things that we can do, and targeting them by the way they search, the key terms that they plug in, the things that they watch, we can always target them on that level, and it gives you a larger scale. So I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm going to go over a few more things and I'm going to start wrapping it up, and we'll talk about some questions and things that maybe you guys have, you know, that you found intriguing that you want to talk about. But before we get into all that, I do want to go over a case study really quick with you, one of two that I have here. So there was a national fast food chain, and they wanted to drive in-store traffic to their restaurants. And they have like over 2,100 locations in the United States. They were looking to actually drive in-store traffic to 43 markets. They had a generous budget of $175,000 for a 10-week program. And they wanted to utilize OTT and CTV. Well, just with those results from what they did in just that 10 weeks time, they got over 237,000 store visits. The cost per store visit to them was only 74 cents. And so their return on investment was 15 to 1. Now, those are huge numbers. And if that's something that can be done for a national fast food chain utilizing commercials and OTT and CTV ads, that just goes to show you how well this works and who we are actually reaching. You know, I would say that on an average for OTT and CTV accounts, I'd say about 29% of the TV viewing. Honestly, advertisers have only captured 3% of the market. That's crazy. So this is a great way for you to step in and promote your business and get your business in front of your consumer. Even if you don't want to do it through a streaming, at least catch them on their mobile, catch them on their desktop, catch them on their iPad while they're out and around, maybe shopping. You never know. So something I talked about earlier, you watch those YouTube videos, you have pop-ups and ads, you can't click through them. This just kind of talks about that. This actually is here, your OTT and CTV, how they work. As I mentioned, over the top is what it stands for the OTT, and it's used when you're a subscriber of Roku. CTV is connected TV, and this is where you're utilizing a specific device, but you are using it on a smart TV, or you're on a gaming console like the new Xbox that just came out. So this just gives you an opportunity to get in front of that large scale audience while they're at home, working from home. So another quick case study that I wanted to go through with you was, geofencing is tracked by impressions. So I'm not sure if I went over this yet or not for you, but impressions are typically just, I like to narrow it down as who's seeing your ad, how many eyeballs are seeing your ad. So that's an impression, the amount of eyeballs you're getting in front of. So this is actually a true story. One of my clients, it was an auto dealership, and they started targeting 20 locations. They used competitors like fire stations, civic centers for events. They even targeted a lot of their competitors nearby. They targeted first responders, all those sort of like niche that people that they knew were going to be their consumers in their town, in their area. Well, in the first 26 days of them running just the brick and mortar physical locations and targeting those locations, they had over 32 people that seen their ad that actually walked into their dealership. And out of those 32 people, 15 actually left a competitor's dealership. So they were at the competitor's dealership, the ad populated, and they left and actually came to their dealership. That speaks volumes for how this works and how we can captivate your audience. So let's start to wrap it up, okay? I just threw a bunch of information at you guys, and I do want to make sure that you understand this is a kind of a sum of geofencing in a nutshell. Target your consumer with display ads, video roll, fine-tuned targeting that basically details that we will get your business in front of the right consumer, and we will retarget your current and previous customers. So we can reach them on their phones, any digital device that they are using, streaming, so TV, cell phone, laptop, desktop, they can always be reached, right? That's what is so great about geofencing. And this is the next phase in the digital platform. If you want to help your business be successful and generate more clients, generate more revenue, and increase sales, this is a must-have for your business, because this actually brands your business, but it also gets you in front of your specific client, because every business is different and not all of us are going to have the same clients or the same needs. So a customized marketing plan with geofencing that works for your business is what I would recommend in the next steps. So here's just what some of these people that we've worked with have said. We target your exact demographic and we see an increase in traffic. The reporting is detailed yet easy to understand. So reporting is dialed down by how many people we reached, how many people seen the ad, how many people clicked on the ad, and how many people converted. So it's all trackable for you guys. An expensive way to reach a large audience and re-engage with previous customers. That's huge. Re-engage with previous customers. Repeat business is the best business, I would say. Not to mention new business too. But that is all I have for you guys. And I hope I didn't talk your ears off too much. I hope you are interested in geofencing or want to learn more. I would be happy to go over any questions you have, or simply if you want to shoot me an email or call me on my cell phone, it's right here. That's my direct number. And I would be glad to talk to you about how we can start ramping your business up against the competition, especially with Black Friday and Cyber Monday and Small Business Saturday coming up, and the holidays in general. So with that being said, I am all set here. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, well, if nobody has any further questions that they want me to review, I will go ahead and sign off here. I hope everybody enjoyed the presentation, and I am very thankful that you joined us today. And if you have any questions, please feel free to jot down my contact information. And I hope you guys have a fantastic week.